Hi there and welcome. If you would please hit the like and subscribe button on your way in, I would so greatly appreciate it. It helps get my channel out in front of other people, and it helps get me in that algorithm and get my videos seen and my business. So thanks a lot. Let's get into it. So Friday, I ended up doing an all-nighter trying to fix those red, white, and blue nails that I did. Did a pretty good job. I'm pretty proud of it. Anyway, I ended up just staying up, having my coffee. Watched all my channels on YouTube that I like to update myself with. Had my coffee, listening to Michelle After Dark, listening to what she had to say. And then uploaded my red, white, and blue video. And a little while later in the afternoon, I took a little nap and woke up, did some housework, and then came back, and everything had changed in everything that I had watched and everything on the news so far that morning. So, that's what I'm going to talk about today. Everything changed as far as things in the case of Lilly and Jack, and our world changed as far as the war, and so here we go. So first, before we get into it, while I was taking my nap, got this idea about making some ice cream nails. It was really hot, so I was craving ice cream. And so that's what I'm going to do today. I'm using the long stiletto, the extra long stiletto shape, so I thought it was perfect for sugar cones. And I'm just taking this kind of tannish color. I'm not being real careful at all, because I'm going to use a darker brown to line everything out. So you'll see that in just a little bit. But I'm just kind of painting the tips, getting it as straight as possible. I mean, I don't want to create too much cover-up work for myself. And then I am curing them for 30 seconds according to the back of the bottle directions. And as soon as I do that, then I will show you the next step. So let's rewind it back a little bit. One of the channels that I like watching is Sloan. Now, I don't know if you believe in psychics or not. I don't really know if I do or not either. Some people are very convincing, some others not so much. So I really go on a person-by-person basis. I don't know her well enough. I don't know if the things that she has said have come true. I don't know. So anyway, I was watching hers, and I will put the link to her video in the description of this video so you can watch it. Also, of the Michelle After Dark updates that I got some of my information from, and I was just floored. But it also kind of helped me come to a little bit of a different opinion when it comes to what's going on with some of the things that we've been hearing. Let me take a quick pause and just explain what I'm doing. I'm taking a darker brown now, and I'm using my really fine liner brush, and I lined along the top. That's why I said it doesn't have to be super perfect. You're going to cover it up. And then I took my liner brush, and I let the brush do most of the work. No drips. I really wipe my brush off so that the brush itself is covered in paint, but no drips at the end. And I just lay it down and drag it, and it gives me my straight line. I'm telling you, a lot of this is about having the correct tools. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to do that on the bottom of all of these nails to give it that sugar cone look. Because I thought, that's the most recognizable when it comes to ice cream cones, I think. Especially when you're doing kind of, interpretations of these things. So, all right, back to it. So anyway, I'm watching Sloan, and she's doing a reading on Lilly and Jack. And I'm not going to give you all the details so you can watch the video yourself and tell me what you think. But she had a story that she told, that she said she read, that she got from spirit guides of what happened that day. And it was a story about Malaya, the mother of Jack and Lilly, taking the kids and giving them to someone so that she could get away from Daniel. And that once she didn't realize this was going to turn into what it was going to turn into, because they lived so far out, she thought it would just kind of maybe be, missing children brushed under the rug. But that once she gave the children to this person, that it didn't turn out the way that she thought it would. And that one of the people that helped her was her mother. We do know, it's been very obvious that her mother seems to be very controlling, very odd of a daughter that's the age that she is. But, you know, maybe Malia was kind of innocent and not real responsible. I've said this before. That's what I think. That's kind of what I'm getting from everything that I've heard. So, you know, we've heard these rumors. We're trying to figure out things like the pink blanket that was found in the woods. They said it's not theirs. The clothes that were in the woods, they said it wasn't theirs. So where are these things coming from? What's rumor, what's not? So I watched this whole video, and I really thought about the things that she was saying in it. And whether they are true or not, they did make sense. And, you know, we all have our theories about this whole case. So I finished watching it, and I just kind of thought about it. And I still believe, just from everything that we do know, the small bit that we do know, that someone else at some point had these kids. I don't, in my heart, believe that they walked off into those woods with absolutely no trace. Do I understand that they may not be able to find them because they could be anywhere? They're small. They could be hiding. They could be in... Maybe. I understand that. I understand those things. I grew up in Michigan. We're pretty much just woods with little cutouts. That's what Michigan is. And dense woods and treacherous woods, some terrain that a lot of people wouldn't be able to deal with. So I do get that. But in the same token, they're crawling through these woods that are so dense that they would, you know, possibly cut yourself on a thorn, have to crawl through brush, things like that. You're going to leave a trace of something, a scent, a piece of your clothing, maybe some hair that got caught on a branch, something. Daniel said that Jack had this pull-up on that he wouldn't have sat there and worn all day. So where's this pull-up? The dogs, I would think, even if the human scent was gone, would most definitely be able to find a dirty pull-up. I mean, I've had kids. I can figure out where they are in the house when we're potty training like nobody's business. It's pretty obvious. But, again, okay, I look at the fact that it would make sense if a stranger took them because they live on a really kind of remote road, but it's a logging road. And so, like I've said before, you know, has anyone watched the show X-Men? Those communities, a lot of times, are inundated with people that they don't know driving these big log trucks to get the product out, down from the mountain, down from the plot that they're clearing, off to their processor, off to the lumber yard so that they can make their money. They've got contracts, big contracts, and they've got to get them done fast. So, it's again, Michigan is a very big logging state. So during those seasons, we also have people in our state that we may not know. They could be truck drivers from California that come out here for the season they make really good money. We're having a similar situation right now where there's a carnival in town. And my town is a very sleepy, you know, little house on the prairie town. But when the carnival comes to town, you get a lot of people that don't live here and that don't know the flow and know how we are and know that pretty much every light in town is out by 8, 9 o'clock at night. And things get a little rowdy for a week around here. And our police are statistically busier. And our dentist gets a lot more calls for people with toothaches that need pain meds, things like that, you know. And it just is how it is. But, so it's not out of the realm of possibility to think that maybe these kids were just very neglected because mom just, I don't know, she had postpartum depression. She was tired. She was young, maybe not real responsible. She's living with somebody. She's depressed, so she doesn't feel like getting out of bed, doesn't feel like doing what she's got to do. Daniel has stated in some other text messages that we're going to talk about in a few minutes that once Meadow was born, she really didn't want much to do with Jack and Lily. And was she pushing away, or was she just so exhausted from having now this third little person who needs even more from her, and living in a place that is not what she was used to growing up in? I mean, we've seen the house that Jack and Lilly were in, where all the pictures were taken. That's not a trailer out in the boonies. It's just not. It looks like a very nice, clean, well-kept house. And again, I believe that's probably her living with her mother. So I wake up from my nap. It was 2 weeks later, okay, after watching Sloan Bella. And Michelle After Dark has put out another video. And in this video, there is a cousin. It's supposedly a cousin of her grandmother's, of Malea's grandmother, I believe it is, that has said that he knows what happened to the children. He has said, but good luck getting them to admit it, or getting her to admit it. He stated that Malia wanted to leave Daniel. And so she planned that morning for someone that she knew, a friend or whomever, to come, family member, whoever, to come pick up Jack and Lilly that morning. And the deal was they were going to take them someplace, and then she was going to pack herself up and Meadow and leave Daniel. And that she didn't realize that Daniel's mother was home that day, and that she had almost gotten caught at the end of the driveway meeting the person. That's where supposedly this boot print that we've heard at the driveway, that now people say that there wasn't a boot print. I don't know. And that's when where the statement came from, that all Malia was doing was playing around on her phone. And that was when she had almost got caught by Daniel's mother. But Michelle After Dark has said this, and this is my opinion too, is that nobody knows who this guy is. This could be just some guy off the street. Now, again, I don't know who this man is. Never heard of him. Didn't see him. This is just... It was a phone interview that he did with a crime channel, I believe. And again, I am going to link the videos from Michelle After Dark also in here, so that you can watch those and you can hear the full statement that she puts out. Well, this channel also supposedly has open communication with Daniel, the stepfather. And as you probably know if you're following this case, he did an interview for the news last week. Now, the interview that's shown is only about maybe 2-3 minutes long. But according to him, they interviewed him for an hour. So there's a lot of stuff that's cut out. I don't know if they're going to do I don't know about Canada, if they're going to do like a dateline, in a couple weeks, or when this is over, of the entire interview, or what they're going to do, or if there was things in there that they just could not broadcast because they don't need to be public knowledge. Something we've learned is RCMP and the Canadian government are very tight-lipped about all of this. They're not like we are. And in some instances, I think that's good. But in some, it makes it a little harder because there's more speculation. I do believe that they know a lot more, as usually with the case, a lot more than we ever will realize. And then, hopefully we find that out, but who knows? Like I said, sometimes we don't get the closure that we want. We don't get to know. So anyway, going through these text messages with Daniel and what he's saying to these people. And first of all, something that hit me funny is he kept saying, don't tell anyone, don't tell anyone. And I felt kind of bad because I thought, you're talking to a YouTube creator, a crime channel, and they're most definitely going to tell someone. I mean, maybe not. Maybe they could be, I don't know. I don't know who these people are. Maybe they're very trustworthy people, but it was something that you don't want to get out. As you have learned from other cases in the past, probably telling a crime channel is not the best decision. But anyway, he's texting back and forth with this one gal, and he's talking about how he knows that the police know a lot more than they're saying. And he is alluding in these texts that Malia had something to do with this, and that she's going to be in a lot of trouble. And now he doesn't say that she hurt them. He doesn't say anything like that. But he does reiterate again that Malaya, that she had postpartum depression, that he was the one that did most of the taking care of Lilly and Jack, that he was the one that got up and got them breakfast and got them dressed and took them outside and played, that she didn't really go outside, she didn't really do anything, and that he was pretty much the sole caregiver for Lilly and Jack. And again, in Michelle After Dark shows some clips of these text messages, and just wow, I was really, really surprised that he would talk that much, and talks about having an in at the police department, but that not to tell anyone, because if they know that he's talking, then that's going to end. And well, unfortunately, that's probably going to end if they're watching any of these videos or hear this. I mean, it's going to be spread all over. But so I was just shocked to hear. Like I said, I took a 2-hour nap, and I woke up and did some housework and got back on in a matter of a couple hours. Everything had changed because this had come out, and it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. I feel so bad. I really, really hope that we get some kind of news when it comes to these little kids, because to think of them just being out there with somebody that they don't know is, as a mom, is heartbreaking, terrifying. And I'm telling you, since I started watching all this true crime stuff on YouTube, I make sure that my kids, that I know where they are every second. I make sure that I know who they're talking to online. I make sure that we're in a store or we're out at a park or something, that they are right there. Even if it means I don't get to relax. Even if it means I don't get to sit there and have, a Mike's Hard Lemonade or whatever. I get up and I take care of them. And there's just so many parents lately that has, and I don't know if it's lately or we just see it more because of the internet, but they just are not taking care of their children. So now let's get back to the nails. As you can see, I am using this paint, and I'm painting little fluffy balls of ice cream on top of the cone. And I am, again, this is another one where it doesn't have to be perfect, because you want that. It was 104 with the heat index here today. So if we had ice cream, it would have been melting. And I think that's the cute signature look of ice cream, is that kind of melted little drips that come down. And I know I was talking earlier when I did the white nail, the other nails, but what I am doing is I am taking clear acrylic dust and I am putting it over top of the paint, and it gives it that kind of frosty, ice creamy look. I've done some other nails like that with snow and with sweater design, and I just thought, because I had a dream in my dream, I was dreaming about ice cream and dreaming about these nails. So then I'm just going to use my red nail polish, and I'm going to give them each a little cutie, because even though they're pretty, I got done and I looked at them and I thought they need something. So I'm going to use the red polish, and I'm going to put a little cherry on there, because I've got this bottle of little fruit charms, but I could not for the life of me find a cherry in there. And let me see. Oh, this is our strawberry ice cream. So, of course, we're going to need a little strawberry on the corner. And I'm just using my UV glue, making sure that it goes all the way to the edges, because we don't want it to lift. And these are actually, I think they're made out of, they look like the little, clay, sliced clay. I just got them at Hobby Lobby in a giant jar for, I think it was $10. But there's every fruit you can think of. So I was having a lot of trouble with things flying around on me today. And this is just a big white bead to kind of represent some whipped cream or a marshmallow on top of our blue ice cream. And of course, I need to put some clear coat on top of that red, because that is gel polish that I used to make that red. So give that a little swoosh around. And then cure it. Make sure everything's cured. Now, anytime I put any jewels on that, like this too, as you can see, I go around with clear nail polish around the edges, just making sure that all those little edges are sealed so that nothing gets caught in it, doesn't get, the edge ripped up, anything like that. And when I cure these, I don't just cure top down. I cure it shining on the top, then I set the nail on the side, I let it cure that way, I flip it around to the other side, and then I flip it on both points. Just so that if there's any little edge in there, all of that glue is going to be nice and cured. And for the orange sherbet, I found a cute little orange slice that I'm going to put on there. And I'm going to do the same thing. And I put the clear coat over top of these little charms because they are either like a funny paper or like a clay. I don't want them, if you're washing your hands, things like that, I don't want them getting wet, getting mildewy or anything like that, but I also don't want the color washing off, and these are the first time I've used them, so if you're better safe than sorry, just seal them. So there's our strawberry nail, and let's see, oh, I can't forget, the green one is mint chocolate chips, so we have to put some chocolate chips in there, so I'm just going to use my dotting tool to do a little bit of, I'm sorry, I'm doing a voiceover, so I got myself mixed up. I just did a cherry stem, so I'm going to let that cure. But here you see I'm putting that clear coat over top of that little charm. That is dragon fruit. So, and the funny thing is now on the chocolate ones I had to use, as you can see, that cherry is a white cherry. Now on the other hand that I already pre-did, I found a red little set of cherries like that to put on top of it. You would think there would be more than one in a giant $10 bottle of fruit. Well, there isn't. Apparently, there's one white cherry and one red cherry, and that's it in that entire bottle, because I dumped it out and I checked. So, whatever with that. But, so yeah, now I'm picking up all the little things I just exploded, because that's tons of fun. And then I added just a little pearl on the chocolate one, just to look like a little tiny bit of whipped cream. So, okay, now, see, here's my little glue, and there's my little pearl that I had to fight with for 20 minutes because it kept flipping all over the place, and now I have to get a new one out because I lost that one. So, oh, these pearls. Okay, there we go. It's on the nail, we're safe, cure it, forget about it. Now, we're going to put our little chocolate chips on. So, see, I'm just going to use my tiny dotting tool, almost no paint, and just give it little specks so it looks like there's little chocolate chips running through there. And don't forget the drips, because you always lose some chocolate chips with the drips. And I didn't put anything on top of this because I thought that it might be too much with the chocolate chips. I'm not sure. It'll depend. I might, with these nails a lot of times I am tweaking them right up until the time that I'm ready to put them out for sale. So, welcome to the mind of a perfectionist Virgo. So I may end up putting like a little Hershey's Kiss on top of it or something. I'm not sure yet. But I am going to, again, like I said, put my clear coat on those little ends. Even this one with the cherry, so that the stem and everything is cured and safe from getting removed. But basically, that's it. I'm going to take some alcohol and make sure I've got all the acrylic dust off of them before I put them in the box. And like I said, I will probably tweak them, but here's the finished product. We've got every single flavor of ice cream you can think of, and it's all calorie free. Voila! So thanks for hanging out with me today. Here's a close-up so you can see those textures. And I don't know, tell me what you think. Do you think we're gonna see Lilly and Jack again? Gosh, I hope so. I hope these little kids are safe. I don't know who to believe about anything anymore when it comes to these true crimes. So, alright. Links in the description box. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I hope you enjoy and have a great, great night. Cutsy out.